How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the PilotPatriot channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the M&P Shield Plus. Alright guys, now I have been carrying the original Shield for about 6 years now. This has been my daily carry on most days and I have really enjoyed it. But now I have upgraded to the Shield Plus because who doesn't want more ammo? So you're about to see my very first shots with this pistol, and then we'll get over to the tabletop and talk about it. But first guys, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Very nice, and I'm loving the night sights on this. I'll give you a closer look at that in just a minute. Now let's go over to the tabletop and we'll talk about the features of this thing and compare it to the old Shield. Alright guys, now let's talk a little bit about the Shield Plus. Now, like I mentioned before, I've carried the original Shield for a long time now, and without a doubt, the Plus is a major upgrade. Let's start by talking about the biggest difference right off the bat. The Shield Plus allows you a 13+1 capacity. The original Shield and the Shield 2.0 after it gave you a capacity of 7+1 with their flush magazine and 8+1 with the extended magazine. With the Shield Plus, you get a capacity of 10+1 with the flush magazine and 13+1 with the extended magazine. And they do all of that with a gun that is basically the exact same size. Now, over the last few years, we've had a lot of innovation in the subcompact concealed carry pistol market, starting with the SIG P365. They gave you a double stack magazine in a frame that's basically the same size as a single stack. Now, right after that, a bunch of companies started coming out with the same thing, and Smith & Wesson was no different. Now, me already being a fan of the Smith & Wesson and the M&P line, this was a no-brainer for me. This specific one I have here is the optics ready version, so you'll see it has the optics cutout on the top if you want to add an RMR type red dot. It also has the Trijicon night sights, so we have the orange fiber optic up front and the tritium night sights in there as well. Another major upgrade was to the trigger. Now, traditionally M&P has had a hinge style trigger safety, and a lot of people have hated on that over the years. Now, I never really had a big problem with it, and when Smith & Wesson came out with their 2.0 line, they did make some minor improvements to that trigger, but the Shield Plus has a different trigger design altogether. It has more of a traditional trigger safety, and we will weigh the trigger pull, but in my opinion that trigger pull is much better, but it's not perfect, and I will talk a little bit about that when we get in for the close-up. Now let's get in here and take a closer look and talk about the specs of this. The Shield Plus has a weight of 20.2 ounces with an overall length of 6.1 inches. Your barrel length on the Shield Plus is going to be 3.125 inches. The width comes in at 1.1 inches, which is really impressive considering this is a double stack gun. Now, if we compare that here to the old single stack M&P, you can tell there is almost no difference. Now, the Plus is just slightly wider, but really when you pick these up and put them in your hand, you really can't even tell the difference. Taking a look at the trigger here, I think this is another major upgrade. You have kind of a wide, flat-faced trigger that feels really good to the hand, and they ended up with going with more of a traditional trigger safety versus the old hinge trigger that they used to have. Now, the old trigger, even though I didn't have a big problem with it, was notoriously kind of mushy on the pull. You're not going to have that problem with the Plus. It is a really nice, crisp, clean break. Now, the reset is another story. Now, I am not a big fan of the reset on this trigger, so let's check that out real quick. So again, you have just a little bit of travel there, and then a really nice clean break. Now for the reset, it's very long. It is audible, you can hear it. But you really can't feel that reset as much as I would like. In fact, when I was shooting earlier, there was a couple times that the trigger failed to reset because I just didn't let my finger travel far enough forward while I was shooting. So the trigger's still not perfect, but a big improvement as far as the weight and the crispness of that trigger pull. All right, now let's check out the trigger pull on our lineman scale here. 3 pounds, 6.7 ounces. £3 pounds, 11.6 ounces. Another thing that I really love is the texture on this. Now I have the same aggressive texture here on the grip that you got with the 2.0, but on the Shield Plus, the entire frame has a little bit more of a rough feel to it. Now I don't know if you can tell the difference here. This one, very, very smooth up here on the frame. This one, much more rough. I don't know if you can see the difference in the texture there on that frame. But I really like that. It really allows me to get a much better grip on the pistol, but it's not so aggressive that it bothers you when you're carrying it. Of course, with the M&P, you get that 18-degree grip angle for a really natural point of aim. You're gonna have a really durable Armonite corrosion-resistant finish on here. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, this is the optics ready version. So you can see it has the optics cut out here, and Smith & Wesson just gives you this polymer plate as a placeholder. And then you can replace that with whatever brand of red dot you want to go with. You can see we also have the Trijicon night sights here. You have the orange fiber optic with the tritium up front, and then just the tritium here in the back. Really nice sight picture. Really pick up that orange really nicely. Just like with the 2.0s, you do have these front slide serrations. They don't serve much of a purpose other than looks. And as always, you have your traditional fish scale slide serrations here in the back. Your magazine release is not ambidextrous, but you can switch it over to the other side for you lefties out there. I think they have done a great job with the Shield Plus here. So some really nice features here on the Shield Plus, but of course the big selling point is the magazines. For the short magazine, which is what I carry, I like to have that nice flat base plate. You get 10 plus 1. That's 3 more rounds than what I'm used to with the old M&P there. And then if you like to go with the extended magazine, you're gonna get 13 plus 1. That's 5 more rounds than the extended magazine on the old Shield. And that is just amazing. Now you can see how this technology works. You have a double stack here that kind of necks down to a single stack here at the top. And the amazing thing is that they're able to achieve that kind of capacity in a gun that is no bigger really than the old one. You can see as far as length, it is exactly the same. Height, exactly the same. Width, any difference there is so minimal that you really can't even notice it. Taking down the Shield Plus is the same as with all M&Ps. You're going to lock your slide back, rotate your takedown lever. Now Smith & Wesson does give you that little tab in there that you can pull out if you don't want to pull the trigger to take the slide down. So that is a nice feature. I don't really use it, but I think it's great that they offer that. Now we're just going to drop our slide, pull the trigger, slide comes right off. No different than the M&P Shield you're already used to. Now one other thing that I don't want to forget to mention is that the Shield Plus will work with all other Shield holsters. Holsters for the old Shield 1.0, the 2.0, and the Shield Plus can all fit the same holsters. This is a Bravo concealment outside the waistband holster for the original Shield 1.0, and you can see this fits in there very nicely. So that is great for compatibility. If you've already been carrying the Shield, then you don't have to worry about getting new holsters. Now, it is also important to mention that the magazines are not interchangeable. You cannot use the Shield 1.0 or 2.0 magazines in the Plus, and you cannot use the Plus magazines in the older Shields. Now let's do a little bit more shooting and we'll wrap this thing up. All right guys, that is it for the M&P Shield Plus. I really love this thing, and if you're already a Shield owner, this is really a no-brainer. This is a huge upgrade from the previous Shields, if only just because of the magazine capacity. And it's nice that they offer that optics ready version for anybody that's interested in adding a red dot. And there's no doubt that those Trijicon night sights are a major improvement over the standard 3-dot white sights. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give us a big old thumbs up. That helps us out with that YouTube algorithm. Moral of the story today is more ammo is always better. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.